Good evening, wherever you are. Dr. Ruth Anderson and Sue Broome here with Enlightened World Network. We bring you once a month messages from your loved ones. And Sue does that by working with her cards, where she shuffles them and your loved one's spirit kicks one out at her, and then we interpret what that message means. So if you would like to receive a message from your loved one, please put your information in the Facebook chat. Sue, how are you today?
I'm doing fabulous, Miss Ruth. How are you doing?
I'm great. I always love this time that we spend together once a month.
I do too. I've been looking very forward to it. That is for sure. So I've been calling in the angels. I've been calling in the loved ones. So I feel like there's a full room here.
Yeah, I do too. And Father's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
That always brings it. Yes, it is Sunday. That always brings in another element when we're dealing with the Hallmark. I mean, I know it's just a Hallmark holiday, but so many of our loved ones that have passed over have lived with us in Hallmark times. Mm-hmm. And so those things tend to mean something. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Shabs Mohanlal, I think if I'm reading that right, is saying hello from South Africa. Hello, Shabs. Welcome and thank you for being here. All right. So, do you have any favorite Father's Day stories about time with your father?
You know, it's been so long since he's been gone. And I honestly, I don't even remember any special times. And it's so funny because I don't pay attention to Father's Day because he has been gone since, mid 80s.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. Do you?
I loved my father. It was an interesting relationship, but I loved my father. And it was always a lot of work because my father was very, I would say private, but I don't even think it's private. I think he needed my mother and my mother needed him, and not sure they needed 4 kids. So we were just sort of there. But my lifelong goal was to not have any regrets when he passed away. And so I worked that relationship. And for a couple of years, we had them over almost every Sunday night for dinner, just to make sure there was that time and that connection with them. And the last year of his life was really intense, and it was beautiful because there was connection, there was healing, there was true love that was being shared. But it took a lot of work to get to that point. So I can say I have no regrets, now that he's passed. So it was worth the effort on my part. So Shabs, I'm guessing that's how you say that, says, can I please have a message from my dad and brother?
So yes. 1 part or 2?
I'm thinking 2. I'm thinking dad is first. What do you think?
I'm good with that because I was feeling more 2 than 1. And yes, dad, that's how I wrote it, is dad and brother. So dad is first. Yeah, when near the end of my dad's life, he was in the hospital a lot. There's a dad card. He and I had gotten close the last few years of his life. But when he was sick, I would sneak up to the hospital really early in the morning so he and I could talk before his wife got up there. So we had our time.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's very sweet.
So here's a message from Dad. Is, ooh, hold my hand. This is, I was always Daddy's little girl. Now, of course, I was the only girl. Keep in mind, I was the only girl. But there is something special about for a little girl holding her dad's hand and going for a walk, or a little boy, either one. I, of course, I picture myself, and there's a picture that I have of my dad, and I see there go the chimes. And I think that this is something, whether you were close with your dad or not, this is something that I feel like dad is reaching out and extending and saying, hey, I am still here for you. I still love you. I am here for you. I haven't gone anywhere, even though it doesn't, I'm not here in the physical, but I'm still here. And I think even doing a meditation and going into remembering a time when you were holding your dad's hand, or how I see it now almost is like, if somebody's laying down, you have your hand, they put their hand, and then you put your other hand on top. So it's kind of like so I feel like it's kind of twofold, back and forth.
Oh, that's
beautiful. Sweet. It's beautiful.
That is sweet. Well, so Shabs, what I'm seeing with that, I am just seeing this huge smile, just like happy go lucky, sort of can find anything to laugh about a situation, even when it isn't funny, that personality. So that's what I'm seeing. And I'm also seeing a meal being shared, and particularly with meat, which is just funny. I don't know if your father loved to eat meat, or if that was just sort of like the hallmark of a good meal, but I'm seeing a lot of laughter, huge smile, and enjoying this meal together. Good morning, Isabel. So let's take a look at Shab's brother, which is a very different energy, it feels like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so this is so funny. Notice the animals around you. And I'll tell you why it's so funny is because I have a door. It's got glass panes in it. It's right there. It's not even 10 feet from me. And right before I showed this card, something caught my eye, and it's a mourning dove walking across. So, and there's another one right there. And then notice the animals around you. Now, I happen to have a lot of critters around me all the time, but I think that people underestimate that they might be thinking about their loved one, and it's like, oh, dad, brother, mother, sister, show me a sign. And then all of a sudden there's a bird, and you might not even think about it and make the connection. But once you start, paying attention to the animals, especially when the card is saying animals, but of course the chimes are going off as well. So pay attention to when you put the message out there that you're looking for a message from your brother, or specifically looking for a message from your father, whoever it is. Pay attention to the call that you're putting out there, the ask that you're putting out there, and what is it that you are getting back. And pay attention, because it's going to be different. And at different times, you're going to see different things, because maybe the animal is, maybe today it's a bird, and maybe tomorrow it's something else. But pay attention to the ask and the inviting. Who are you inviting into your day, and what kind of information are you getting back? I also see, I have to say, a big dog with a tail wagging, almost like what are the ones where they got really long fur? Golden retriever, where their tails, they have the longer fur and their tails just, I'm also seeing that in my mind. So yeah.
We don't always know what that's going to be. Shab says it is special holding Dad's hand. He always smiled. He loved special meals together. Aw. And she said, thank you. I will become more aware. Shabs, what I'm seeing with your brother, immediately I got intensity. And it's like intensity of thought. And I don't know. It's almost like a heaviness intensity, in the sense that everybody might be joking and your brother might be sitting there looking sort of more serious, but because there's just so much thinking going on. Not sure. I would just say whatever your brother was thinking or feeling, it was intense. Like if there was laughter, it was intense laughter. If there was a serious conversation, it was intense. I just get the feeling there's so much intensity there. So I'll be curious to know if that's at all what your brother was like to you. Sue, did you receive anything else on the brother?
There's also intense love.
Hmm.
It's like, you know how some people, they love so much it almost hurts. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like they're like when people say they're larger than life, but it feels like they just love, like, and I'm getting chills. It's like there's just so much love that they have to give, and they want you to feel that.
Mm. And Shabs is saying he was very serious about his business and family. And yes, he loved his kids unconditionally. Oh, yeah, that I love it when spirit shows their personality of who they were here in the 3D realm. It's so validating to get that we really are not all that different. You know, we have these core values and we're really not all that different. Okay, Isabel Reese. I would love to have a message from my sister, Teresa Muga, Mouga, Teresa Muga.
Sister Teresa.
Sister Teresa.
I know, that does sound like it's kind of funny, doesn't it? Sister Teresa. Let's see what we got. And of course, you notice the chime. I haven't heard your chimes, Miss Ruth.
No, I haven't either yet.
They'll get there, I'm sure. Oh, I watch over you always. You know, I don't have any sisters in this lifetime, but I believe that my mom was a sister in a past life, that I have done meditations and regression on that. And so I know she watches over me all the time. And I think that so what I feel is that there may have been different things that maybe your sister and you did together, where there's different things that she may be doing to help coax you to go there, to help remember the fun times and not to block those off. But it's like, yeah, we did this thing together is what I'm feeling like. So, yeah.
What I'm getting, Isabel, is that I think there was a lot of enjoyment there, but I think there were also some of those sisterly barbs there, that it wasn't always smooth sailing, but there was a lot of love there. Because the first thing that I saw was, well, the first thing was like smelling delicious, like Italian food, just like that rich, pungent smell of cooking, tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce, that kind of thing. And then I got the feeling of, this is beautiful family, and there's just this tiny little, just a little twist. It's like, this is all awesome, and oh, there it is, you know, but most of the time it's fine, but oh, there it is. So I don't know. That's just what I was getting there.
That's funny.
Yeah. I think that's like a lot of family things, you know, most of the time you get along, but then there it is.
And I have brothers. So yes, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Daily Diaz, my mom passed away 3 years today. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Happy anniversary to Mom.
I'm wondering if there's any message from her. Her name is Dora Sanchez. Thank you so much.
And just to explain, I feel like it's an anniversary date of their passing. Sometimes I refer to it as a graduation because they're graduating back to spirit. So that's where I'm coming from. So Mom, Dora, we share so many memories. Yeah. You know, and I do talk about this a lot with the memories because when we go into the memories, that's the part that's still there. It's, you know, that's what keeps them alive. And it's interesting, especially with younger kids, that, you know, if you have younger kids and you're trying to have them remember grandma, sharing stories and having them partake in the storytelling, you know, because they have their own memories. And kids remember so much more than adults do. But get the family and family gatherings are times to share these memories. So if you're having a Father's Day gathering, it's a great time to share stories. Yeah, there may be some tears, but when you're sharing the memories, there's so much love that comes out. And you can, you know, especially when you have a room full of people all sharing stories and laughing about, you know, this happened and that happened, it raises the vibration of everyone, which also encourages your loved ones to show up and show the signs and show the messages, and helps you remember more memories.
Yeah, that's an important message. Thank you. So Daily, with Dora Sanchez, what I am getting is a very, very social being in the ethereal realm. So my understanding from things that I've read, things that I've seen, is that when we get to the ethereal realm, we get to create what we want. We get to hang out with who we want. We continue to learn lessons. We do things. If you want a garden, have a garden. If you want to fish at your own lake and look at the mountains, you do that. And what I'm seeing with Dora is that she is very, very social. She's surrounded and she's kind of like the life of the party. Now, it's interesting because I don't know if she was like that here in the flesh, but she certainly is there, almost to the point of I'm getting like, hold on, guys, I need to go talk to them for a minute and I'll be back. I mean, just like that is how robust her personal life is there in the ethereal realm. So don't ever worry about how she's doing, because she is fine, absolutely fine, and blossoming, thriving. And when it's time for you to get there, it's going to be like, oh, come in and meet everybody. You know, she's preparing a place for you and she's the belle of the ball over there.
It's party time.
It is party time. Okay, so Isabel says, and we always just share what it is the folks say, just so we all get the whole story here. She says, yes, we loved each other so much, but my mother, actually her mother, was always jealous of me being loved by my sister. For example, that she would work hard and pressure my sister to not love me and pit her against me all the time. Yeah, so that was the little bit of angst there. Yes, on our own, we got along very good. We did have great, awesome times together. Lovely.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. Okay, Melissa Hayes. I would love a message from my cousin Jimmy. He left so suddenly. Before we go on, Daly said, yes, thank you so much. Her laughter was contagious and everyone loved being around her. That's who she is, to the core.
Yep. And that makes sense why the memories card came up, because that's when you're sharing memories, when you're sharing stories, when you're sharing laughter, that is the part that keeps them alive in our hearts. Cousin Jimmy.
Melissa Hayes, cousin Jimmy.
I mean, I keep seeing a sandwich. I know, and it's a, what do you call them? A sub sandwich. I haven't eaten a sub sandwich in ages. I mean, decades probably, but that's what I keep seeing in my head is a sub sandwich. All right, cousin Jimmy, let's see what we got here. I live forever in your heart. Absolutely. But you know, it's interesting that I was getting food because food is something about in our brain. There's the scent and food, that mechanism is really close to the memory mechanism in our brains. That's why
That's true.
when you smell something that you instantly get, you know, a memory. It could be a memory of taking you right back to when you were a kid. And so food is really in the same realm. So think about maybe there was some connection with food. Did you cook together? Did you, you know, have a special time together where you guys would meet up and go out to eat or whatever and just have fun? But there's some connection with the food that it's like when you eat that food, you can almost feel your heart expand. When you go back in those memories of spending time together, eating, you know, your heart expands. That's what it feels like to me.
I'm not getting the food, but that's funny. I love that. So, Melissa, one of the things that Spirit has shown me, and I know that we're all on different curriculums. We all have different lessons that we learn. One of the things that I was shown is that before we come into this world, we choose one of several times we're going to go. We're going to be finished. And for me, they were called end points. And I had heard 5, somebody else has said 9. You know, Spirit teaches us different things. But when we get close to one of those endpoints, I think they check in with us and go, I don't know, time to go. And you go, nope, can't go now. And I really do think one of those times is like in utero. There's so many miscarriages. I think, you know, one might be early babiness, and then they're spread out through the lifetime. And I think sometimes when you get to your last endpoint, and you're rocking life, it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's it. And what really reinforces that to me, I was reading this newspaper article a while ago. Sunny day, this gentleman is riding his motorcycle on the freeway in Colorado, struck by lightning. And you're thinking, what? That makes no sense. No sense. It was just like somebody said, okay, out of the pool. Right? Your time is done, out of the pool. And what I'm seeing with Jimmy, what I was getting was almost like a hand going like tick-tock and like out of the pool. And, you know, so I think sometimes when somebody passes that quickly and it sort of seemingly for no reason or boom, all of a sudden they get cancer and a week later they're dead. It's like somebody went, oh, shoot, we forgot to put the things in motion that we're going to take you out. So we better just like strike, right? What I am getting with Jimmy, he has other things to do. He had completed, even if relationships weren't done, even if like raising children wasn't done, like on a soul level, it was like, oh, I've got these other things that I can be doing and I'm out. And it's not meant to be a hurtful thing when someone as a soul leaves. I know it leaves a lot of hurt behind, but it's not meant to be a hurtful thing. I think it was Jimmy's time. So what are your thoughts on that, the endpoints and all of that?
I agree wholeheartedly. And I think age doesn't have anything to do with it either, because I look at my mom, 32, and she had 4 kids. And it was her time. it was absolutely her time. And I feel like, yeah, even though we were all still pretty young, it was, she had other things that she needed to do. And I know I've worked with her on the other side, so I know that there's been a huge expansion that has happened for her. So yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And the endpoints, yes, I've heard all kinds of different numbers, and doesn't matter. It's like, yep, okay, this is the one I'm heading out on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's so interesting. And I'm just being guided to share this message. When my mother-in-law passed, she had cancer. We knew she was dying, and she passed. We were at her funeral, and her spirit was there. I would bet my absolute life on it, in the front of the church, facing us, facing out. And she was there with the guide, and they were reviewing her life. They were reviewing everyone that she had touched that was there in the room. And it was completely void of emotion for her. It was just so clear that that's what was happening there. And as much as we miss them in all of the stages of life that we're in at that point, they're not feeling that same angst. They're not feeling that same loss. So I'm just thinking about Jimmy and what it was like for him to be doing his life review, even though he wasn't here all that long. It's just sort of interesting. There's so many interesting spiritual concepts around death and the transition and what happens to us as a soul and all that. So
It is really,
I just wanted us to share that.
and well, and the no emotion, I think is an important piece, because I think time is looked at so differently. And on the other side, it's like, well, you'll be here in the blink of an eye. And to us, it's going to be like for my mom, decades later, but for her, it's blink of an eye. So it's like, yeah. And they can see what's going on. They can see what's still going on in our lives much more easily than we can see what's going on in theirs.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So Isabel is saying she was wishing that her sister would give her a message of guidance, as she used to guide her in her life when she was alive. Yeah.
This is what I would say, Isabel, is sit quietly in a spot, whatever is comfortable to you. And you can put your hands on your chest if you want, but go into a memory, a visualization, and your imagination, and go into a time when the two of you were just sitting, chatting, having a cup of coffee together, eating a meal together, just sitting, talking. Go back into that memory and have a conversation with her. When you go back into the memory, well, this is what we were talking about, Sue. It's like, well, change it. Use your imagination and change it. And ask her for what she would tell you today, and see what information you get, because she's still here.
She is still here. Yeah. Melissa says, thank you, beautiful souls. He loved food, LOL. And yes, that is what I thought. He was so unconditional in loving whoever. Sweet. I want to take a minute. We don't have anybody else in the queue that's wanting to hear anything else at the moment. I want to take a minute and talk about us here in the 3D. I've been talking to a couple of people that are facing very serious health conditions. One may end up being fine over time, and the other, very good chance, is going to reduce her lifespan significantly. and soon. And for both of those folks, I've been checking in with them spiritually, and there is so much spiritual support for both of them. And it makes me realize, total goosebumps here, how much spiritual support we all have day to day that we're just not even aware of. We don't have to be facing a trauma for our guides to be there for us. They're always there. But there is that special time in our lives of, holy cow, what if I'm dying? And it just stops everything in the 3D, and it just makes you reflect. Have I lived my life the way that I want to be? If I have a short time left, what do I want to make sure I get done? Who do I want to know how much I love them? And what do I need to do to prepare? I just think it's a fascinating time. Sue, health-wise, have you always been healthy, or have you ever had to face that holy cow question?
Thankfully, I've always been very healthy. I've seen a lot of people around me that I've seen their health decline. Even my brother, who died just a couple years ago, he lived like a year longer than he thought he would. And he's 2 years younger than me, but he had a lot of health issues. And I think from what I understand what you're saying, it's like, first off, live your life every day, no matter what.
No.
But if you are faced with that, it's also time to look at, are you in a place physically? Because I know my brother, he really couldn't do a lot because he had so many lung issues. But so are there things that will feed you spiritually if you truly don't have a lot of time? And are you, even as you're feeding yourself spiritually, are you also giving back? And that doesn't mean that, to give your stuff away or to give money to I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying emotionally. Like Ruth was saying, is there somebody that you need to reach out to and say, we haven't talked in a long time, but you're really important in my life. And you don't have to tell them what's going on in your life. You just reach out from an energetic, energetic and if you can't reach out from a physical perspective, calling somebody on the phone, do it in an energetic way. Go into, and you can do this with anybody that is here that you might not be getting along with. Go into your heart space, unconditional love, and have a conversation with that person, because their soul will hear it. And so if you feel like there's things going on and you can't reach out to that person from a physical standpoint, do it energetically.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's never too late. My father passed at 89, and his 88th year was profound for healing relationships. Absolutely profound. His brother said, we've never been as close as we were that last year. And it made up for all the 88 years before it. It really did. It is never too late to reach out.
I've seen that happen. I'm sure this memory that I have is a TV program, but it doesn't matter because it happens in real life.
Right.
Where, people reconnect and it's like instantly, those people, it doesn't matter how long ago it's been since you've talked to them, but you just kind of pick up where you left off. It's like that. So it's beautiful. And even if a person has already, if they're already transitioned and you feel like, oh, I never had that conversation with them, have that conversation now. You can still write them a letter, go into a meditation and have that conversation. You can still do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Lots of healing.
Absolutely. Because yeah, what you say, Ruth, it's never too late.
Mm. No. No.
Oh man, it is not.
Well, Sue, anything else that you'd like to share today? Our friends are being quiet in the chat, but anything else that comes up to be shared?
No, so I personally don't know a lot of people that have things going on in their life where their health is all of a sudden taking a really bizarre turn. But I know people who do have people in their life. And I think, so being them, like I can support them, helping them support
Yeah.
the person that's going through it. For instance, I have a neighbor who has a very close friend, and I have met her friend, but she all of a sudden had this cancer. I don't even remember what kind, because it's kind of a bizarre kind, and it's not what she had 2 other times in her life. But so as I'm talking to my neighbor, she's like, what do you say to somebody like that? And it's like, you just allow them to share whatever they are ready to share and be there to support them. And if they don't want to share things, just be there, spending time with them and taking them, she was saying that she was finding cute little, the little cat videos, the kitten videos or puppy videos. And she was sending those to her because they would make her laugh. So little things like that, bringing her just a flower that she would enjoy. So those are things that she can do. She's, this person is not directly in my life, but I can help support my neighbor when she wants to talk about it, because I know it also is weighing heavy on her. So think about that as well.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. One of our friends, one of his best friends was just diagnosed with stage 4 lung. I think it was colon that has like blown up everywhere. His best way to support her is to go pull the weeds in her yard, because he knows that makes her happy, and she can't go do that right now. Yep. So, someone else was thinking of ice cream cake, and he said, well, yeah, that's lovely, but she can't eat it. Right now she's so sick with the chemo and stuff, but you just think of what would bring them joy. Mm-hmm. And for him, it's pulling her weeds.
Yep. I absolutely, little ways that you can reach out and help people. Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful.
Well, I just think we're in an interesting time. I think there's a lot of folks that are dealing with life-altering issues all of a sudden. Sometimes it seems like there's sort of I don't want to say mass exodus, but a bigger exodus of folks leaving the planet. It just kind of feels like that. So we'll just watch and see. But, just supporting folks that are going through that. And really, it's just holding them in love. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, we can't change what it is that's happening to them, nor do I really think it is our job to try. But we're just there to hold and to share love, which is really, I think, all we're really asked to do anyway, is just to love others. But
yeah, I think you just said the words hold them and support, or love, It's like you're lifting them up, love and support. And you can do that energetically or in other ways. So yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sue. Thanks, friends, for being here. And we will be here next month for another rendition of Messages from Our Loved Ones. And what's that date, Sue?
July 11.
July 11.
7/11.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, friends. Thank you so much for being here. God bless. Take good care, and we'll see you all soon.